And I bring with me puddles very soon in our forecast.
As the meteorologist at Channel 2 in Bangor, Maine for 20 years, Steve McKay expects the kidding that's part of every TV weather person's life in public.
Today is good, but you want to explain to me Friday morning?
But Steve gets an extra dose.
I prayed really hard about it, but it just didn't work. Your highs for tomorrow should be warmer than today. That's not
Because Steve
saying too much.
McKay
Mid to
is
upper
also
50s.
Steve Smith, pastor of Verano United Methodist Church.
Friday, we'll talk more about the timing of incoming rain.
Steve McKay deals in practical predictions about the very immediate future. Steve Smith is about a lifelong spiritual journey.
And forgive us our trespasses. Your faith tends to wane at times, right? Being in this human condition, we experience highs and lows.
There are metaphors galore.
Into each life, a little rain must fall.
Is that how you're selling this one?
It's Maine. Conditions change quickly, like life.
Look, winter's here.
I like to think of him as kind of the moral compass of the newsroom in a way.
The issues you deal with as a pastor are much deeper compared to perhaps a TV personality. Weather is important here in Maine. People want to know that what they're watching is accurate.
Do you have like a satellite that's up somewhere that gives you the weather?
But that's a different level than someone who's dealing with a life crisis. How's your husband?
Same.
Okay to come see him?
Oh, he'd love to see
I'll be there.
everybody.
When somebody hears that I'm a meteorologist and a pastor, they will often say, oh my gosh, two such different things. But they actually share a lot of commonality. For example, as a meteorologist, you're into research, and then you're communicating the weather story. In the same way, a pastor takes a piece of scripture, looks at the context, and then it's all about delivering the sermon as a storyteller. Name of the message today is A Safe Place, and we'll be talking more about that. Both occupations are really dependent heavily on being an effective communicator.
Steve thinks of his professions as complementary, not separate lives, though it can be tricky in how others relate to him.
There are some people that are surprised when I'm at the hospital praying with them, and they look up at me and say, why aren't you the TV weatherman? And I explain, well, I'm a pastor too. Oh, I thought you were just the TV weatherman going around praying with people.
Faith, science. Steve is not confused.
I really enjoy both jobs. I have more of a passion for the ministry.
So you use this in front of the church too, right?
What's that, the makeup?
Yeah.
Nah. They like me just as I am at church. If I couldn't do the ministry, that would be very, very difficult. If I couldn't do the TV, I think I'd be okay.
I enjoyed your message.
All right, well, I appreciate you being here.
This video was brought to you by the people of the United Methodist Church through World Service donations.